Have you ever noticed how your mind never stops talking? It judges, compares, creates stories, and sometimes even sabotages you. But what if I told you that this constant voice isn't who you truly are? Imagine a life where your perception of the world isn't filtered through these voices, where you can experience reality as it is, raw, pure, without any filters. This is exactly the idea that Jacobo Grinberg explored in his studies on the neuronal field. He believed that the biggest obstacle to seeing the truth isn't outside of us, but within our minds. The voice you hear all the time, the one that seems to be your identity, is actually an illusion, a prison made of beliefs, traumas, and conditioning. Today, we're going to dive into the journey of silencing this voice and discovering a universe of potential that already exists within you. Are you ready to see reality as it truly is? What if I told you there's something operating in your mind, an invisible mechanism that you've never questioned, but that controls almost everything in your life? This incessant voice in your head, the one that judges, compares, criticizes, and sabotages you, is not a coincidence. It's not you. It's a programming. And what no one has ever told you is that it was installed. This voice, which you believe to be your identity, was shaped by external forces. From the moment you were born, your environment, your experiences, and especially the media, began to sculpt the way you think, how you perceive yourself, and how you view the world. Every commercial you watched, every manipulative headline you read, every carefully crafted image designed to hit you emotionally, all of this was created to feed that voice. And this voice has a purpose: to keep you in an invisible prison. Think about the messages you receive every day. You're bombarded with ideas about how you should be, how you should live, what you should have to be enough. This isn't by accident. The more inadequate you feel, the more you consume, the more you obey, the more you accept this distorted reality. The media creates unattainable standards of success, beauty, and happiness because it knows this fuels the cycle of comparison and dissatisfaction. And while you're distracted, trying to fill this artificially created void, your true essence is forgotten, suffocated. Jacobo Grinberg talked about mental grids, filters that distort reality. He believed that the human mind has been conditioned to interpret the world in a limited way, restricting its connection to something much greater, the unified field where reality is pure, free from manipulation. What few understand is that these filters are fueled daily. The media, education, society, all are designed to keep you operating in this state of disconnection, a prisoner of a narrative that isn't yours. The result? You live a life based on fear, comparisons, judgments. You see yourself as someone who needs to be fixed, needs more success, more beauty, more recognition. And while you chase these illusions, the truth of who you really are remains hidden. This voice inside you, the one that never stops, is a reflection of an entire system designed to keep you trapped. But here's the revelation that few have access to. This voice isn't real. It's a shadow, an echo of all the beliefs that have been imposed on you. It only has power because you've never questioned its origin. And that's exactly what the system wants, to ensure you never realize how much you're being manipulated. Because the day you silence this voice is the day you free yourself. And when that happens, you'll begin to see the world as it truly is, not as others want you to see it. Jacobo Grinberg, a name you've probably never heard in traditional media, and that's no coincidence. He was one of the greatest scholars of the human mind and perception, someone who challenged imposed narratives and offered a glimpse of what lies beyond the mental barriers we build. His research, which combined neuroscience, spirituality, and shamanism, revealed something few dare to admit. The reality you perceive is an illusion, filtered by a mind programmed to limit your true potential. Grinberg developed the concept of the neuronal field, a theory that debunks the idea that we are just our thoughts. He believed that the mind functions like a lens, distorting what we perceive based on the beliefs we hold. His connection with shamans and ancient spiritual practices led him to discover the unified field, a state of pure and limitless perception that is available to all of us, but is blocked by the mental grids implanted in our lives. Grinberg's work was silenced. His ideas, revolutionary and dangerous to the system, disappeared along with him. Literally, he vanished in 1994 without a trace, a mystery that still sparks speculation today. And perhaps this isn't a coincidence. Maybe what he knew was too big, too important, and posed a threat to a system that wants you distracted, confused, and disconnected from your true essence. That's why today we're going to explore Grinberg's legacy and his revolutionary message. Because understanding what he discovered is the first step to escaping this mental prison and accessing your mind's true potential. The knowledge he left us is an invitation, exclusive, rare, and deeply transformative. Are you ready to hear what has never been told? Jacobo Grinberg said that the human mind is like a prism. It filters the light of pure reality and transforms it into something we can understand. But over time, this prism gets covered with layers of dust, limiting beliefs, traumas, external influences, until the light can barely pass through. This dust is the incessant internal voice that keeps us trapped in cycles of judgment, fear, and dissatisfaction. Today, we're going to remove these layers and explore how it's possible to access the pure perception that Grinberg called the unified field. It all starts with beliefs. Think about how many things you believe about yourself. I'm not good enough. Things never go right for me. I need to be perfect to be accepted. These beliefs didn't come with you. They were implanted by family, school, society, and especially the media. From an early age, we're bombarded with images, words, and ideas that shape our sense of worth. The advertising industry, for example, profits from your insecurity, selling solutions to problems it helped create. As you believe these narratives, the system feeds itself. But what if these beliefs were just lies you accepted as truth? Now let's go deeper. Grinberg said that these beliefs form mental grids, like bars that filter reality and distort our experiences. For example, if you believe you're unworthy of love, that belief will guide your perception. You'll interpret every gesture, every word, as a confirmation of that idea. The reality you experience isn't objective. It's manipulated by your mind, influenced by these grids. That's why so many people feel stuck, reliving the same patterns of suffering without knowing how to escape. And the scariest part? These grids not only affect how you see the world, but also how you behave in it. When you're trapped in self-critical thoughts, your energy changes. You act with less confidence, avoid risks, hide from your own potential. The unified field that Grinberg mentioned, a state of full connection with reality, becomes inaccessible because your mind is too busy creating distortions. But there's a way out. Grinberg believed that to dissolve these grids, something simple yet profound was needed: presence. When you start observing your thoughts without judging them, without identifying with them, something magical happens. The internal voice loses its power. It relies on your attention to survive, and when you observe it silently, without reacting, it begins to fade away. It's at this moment that the unified field starts to reveal itself. The media will never teach you this, because a present person, connected with reality, cannot be controlled. They don't need external validation, they don't consume mindlessly, they don't conform to imposed narratives. And that's why this knowledge is so rare, so exclusive. Grinberg didn't just want to explain how the mind works, he wanted you to experience what's beyond it. The first step to this transformation is simple: question. Question the beliefs you carry, the stories you tell yourself. Ask, is this idea mine, or was it implanted in me? And more importantly, practice silence. Not external silence, but internal. That moment when you stop reacting, stop fighting the voice, and just observe. It's in this space that the truth begins to emerge. Grinberg said that pure reality is like a calm lake, but every thought, every belief is like a stone thrown into that lake, creating ripples that distort the reflected image. What he proposed, and what the media will never tell you, is that you can stop throwing these stones. You can silence the lake and finally see reality as it is. Are you willing to take that step? Because this journey isn't for everyone. It's for those ready to open their eyes and see beyond the veil. It's for those unafraid to question everything they've always believed. Are you ready for that? Imagine for a moment that you're alone in absolute silence. There's no one around you, no distractions, just you and your thoughts. Suddenly, you notice something frightening. The voice that never stops, that never leaves you in peace, keeps talking. It repeats painful memories, reminds you of failures, insecurities, things that could have been different. Now ask yourself, who is this voice? Why does it never quiet down? And more importantly, why do you let it dominate your life? Jacobo Grinberg believed that this voice is like a mental parasite, something that has grown inside us over time, fed by our experiences, the media, comparisons and fears. It convinces us that we're insufficient, that we need more, that we're always chasing something we'll never achieve. That's why so many people live tired, anxious lives, as if carrying an invisible weight on their shoulders. Now think, what would your life be like if this voice finally silenced? What would it be like to wake up in the morning without that constant feeling of inadequacy, without that mental noise that never stops? What would it be like to make decisions based on what you truly want, not on what the world expects of you? What no one told you is that this inner silence exists, and it's where your true essence lives. It's beyond the voice, beyond the narratives you've accepted as truth. Accessing this space isn't just liberating, it's transformative. It's like opening a door to a completely new universe, where you're no longer a slave to your thoughts, but a conscious creator of your reality. This journey isn't easy. It's not something you'll find just anywhere, because the world prefers you remain distracted, consuming, obeying. But here's the truth. You have the power to silence this voice, to break these mental grids, and experience what Grinberg called the unified field. And when you do, you'll realize that everything you sought externally, happiness, freedom, peace, has always been within you, waiting to be discovered. The question is, are you ready to open that door and discover what's on the other side? Now that you've seen what's really behind that incessant voice, there's no ignoring it. You already know it's not you, that it was built through years of conditioning and reinforced by a system that profits from your disconnection. But here's the crucial point. Everything you need to free yourself is already within you, and the decision to take the first step is in your hands. Today, I invite you to do something that few people have the courage to do. Question the voice in your head. Ask yourself, are what I think about myself, about life, about the world, true? Or is it just a story that was told to me and I accepted without realizing? More than that, start observing your thoughts. Not as a participant, but as a spectator. Watch how they arise, how they try to involve you, but don't react. Just observe. Experience inner silence, even if just for a moment. And in that space of silence, you'll begin to notice something that few people get to feel. Reality as it is, without filters, without distortions. This is your first step to accessing what Jacobo Grinberg called the unified field, where there are no limitations, where your true essence can finally emerge. And don't stop there. Share this idea. Leave in the comments what you felt when observing your mind for the first time, because this journey isn't just yours. It's part of a larger awakening, a connection with something that transcends individuality. It's time to break free from the mental prison and take control of your perception, your life. Start today. Silence the voice. Discover what's beyond it. And remember, you're not alone. This knowledge is rare, it's unique, but now it's yours. Use it with courage. The reality you know is just part of the story. Everything you believe to be fixed, unchangeable, unquestionable, your beliefs, your fears, your perception of yourself, can be transformed. Jacobo Grinberg left us a powerful legacy, the idea that we are not prisoners of the mind, but can transcend its limitations and access something much greater. Inner silence, that calm and unshakable presence that exists beyond the incessant voice, is the gateway to a different life. A life where you're no longer a slave to patterns, but the conscious creator of your own reality. Grinberg showed us that this transformation is possible, but it's up to you to take the first step. Today, you've received something rare, something few have access to, the opportunity to see beyond the mental grids, beyond the imposed narratives, beyond the noise that blocks your essence. But this knowledge only becomes powerful when you put it into practice. It's not enough to know, it must be experienced, felt, lived. So stop for a moment, take a deep breath. Observe your thoughts, but don't react. Feel the space that exists between one thought and another. This is where change begins, where your true essence awaits you. And remember, you're not alone on this journey. Keep exploring, questioning, awakening. This is just the beginning. If this content resonated with you, share it. Leave your experience in the comments and invite others to also see what's beyond the veil. Together we can open doors to a deeper, more authentic, more real perception. Change begins when you stop talking to yourself, and it's within your reach right now.